This new McFarlane action figure is unbelievable. They're gonna be just fine when they lose the DC license. This is the Elite Edition Doomslayer from Doom the Dark Ages. Apparently, this is the first ever McFarlane Elite Edition action figure. That's not even a branding thing that I have ever heard of up to this point, but I'm really excited to get this out of the box and see what the Elite Edition is all about. I actually stumbled across this at Walmart and was kind of blown away by the way it looked in the box. I've never played Doom, but when a figure looks this cool, how do you pass it up? In the box, you get these two grabbing hands, which have a ton of detail on the knuckles and throughout the hands. Really just look awesome. Got some chainmail texture in the palms. These things look really good. And you also get one fist and one open hand. I don't really like when they do this kind of mismatched hands thing. Hasbro does this a lot too, and I would assume for the Elite Edition, people would be looking for a little bit more out of McFarlane than one fist and one open hand. But they look really nice, just like the other hands. They've got a lot of detail in them. So I think because he's got so many weapons, it doesn't necessarily matter how many open hands or relaxed hands or whatever he comes with. This is probably all you need, but it is still a little bit of a pet peeve when they only have these mismatched hands. You also get this weapon called the Pulverizer, which, remember, I never played these games, so forgive me if I get anything wrong, but from my research on the McFarlane website, this is the Pulverizer. It's got this skull in the back and skulls down here. It kind of looks like maybe it fires skulls out, which is pretty fun. I like that quite a bit. And then it's got this kind of opening here in the front. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments what in the game this weapon does, but it kind of looks like, no, these things don't close. But this is a really fun weapon. From everything I know about the Doom games, this kind of fits in perfectly with what I've seen from the gameplay from those. So this is a pretty cool addition, and I'm assuming probably a necessary addition for this Doomslayer character. You also get this really cool flail, which I'm assuming, you know, if the game is called Doom the Dark Ages, that it's got to have some kind of medieval flair to it. So even though there's guns and other weapons, there's also these medieval weapons like this flail, and even just in the box art where he's holding this weapon, it just looks freaking awesome. So I can't wait to see what he looks like holding this in his hand as well. Like I said, there's not just medieval weapons, there are also kind of modern weapons. So you've got this combat shotgun here as well, and this has some pretty cool detail actually in the barrels of it. I just like really the aesthetic that they're going for with this Doom the Dark Ages figure, and I'm assuming the game obviously matches this aesthetic as well, so maybe I'll have to check the game out. I mean, this is pretty cool. I like this quite a bit. And the last accessory in the box is this shield saw. I really like this emblem that's on the front. This looks pretty cool. Hopefully I'm not holding it upside down. It might be supposed to be that way. I'm not really sure, but this thing is awesome. I love the shield with the saw blades like surrounding the edge of it. This looks like it would be a really fun weapon in the game, I'm sure. He's got this handle back here, doesn't move. So you've got the shield saw as well as those other accessories. This is the last of the accessories that come with this Elite Edition Doomslayer. Now let's take a look at the figure. Actually, real quick, before we look at the figure, I forgot about this thing in the box. This is an Elite Points card, which apparently can be used to redeem rewards and different like prototypes and stuff from McFarlane. So this Elite Edition thing not only comes with the figure, there's also a card in there like they always have in a stand, but it also comes with, get this straight, that's looking nice. But this is kind of a cool thing to include with your Elite Edition, if this is supposed to be kind of their flagship line of figures, that you can actually earn things in addition to getting the figure itself by getting these Elite Edition cards in the box. The figure itself is, I mean, just look at it. It's freaking awesome. This Elite Edition thing is just kind of like stumbling across the Maximum series and not knowing what it is. Like, what the hell did I just buy? This thing is super detailed. The color and the texture on the suit is really awesome. You've got a lot of different styles of texture here. So you've got like kind of this leather under the armor. Obviously this green armor is a certain texture. Then you've got all of this silver armor and the chainmail and stuff like that. You've got this loincloth with the chainmail down here. You've even got this chain, which is actual metal over here, the shotgun shells and all the pouches in his belt. I mean, it just looks really cool. This is a nice action figure. And the thing about these kind of big, beefy armored action figures is that this is where McFarlane really shines, on these armored figures, and this one is no different. It kind of reminds me of this armored Batman, which up to this point has been my favorite McFarlane figure, but I don't know, maybe this Doomslayer figure will change that. One more thing about the way this figure looks, this cape is a soft goods faux fur cape, and it's not wired or anything, but it does look really cool. It's gonna shed a little bit in your collection. I think I've already had some little hairs fall off as I've been kind of handling it. But in terms of just giving it this kind of presence and this look that's just so different, I don't have anything else in my collection with a faux fur cape. So this definitely helps set this Doomslayer apart from that perspective. Now, I do want to take a look at the articulation, because anytime you've got these bigger, bulkier figures, sometimes they don't move as well as some of your smaller figures. So taking a look at the shoulders, because he's got this shoulder pad up here and this like shoulder mounted blaster, this kind of like Predator blaster kind of thing, that can kind of potentially get in the way. But the shoulder, what is the shoulder doing? When you move it up, the shoulder pad, is there like a... Okay, the shoulder pad's kind of like on a little pin. So when you move this up, the shoulder pad, it's gonna hit his head a little bit, but it does kind of move out of the way to allow you to move that up. All right, if you push it too far, the arm will pop off. But taking a look at this other arm, you know, yeah, so you're not getting up, you're not doing a T-pose with this figure. So it is gonna be a little limited. But I would imagine, even if you look at the game footage, there's probably not a lot of this character raising his arms up above shoulder level. In terms of his elbows, they are single jointed, and so they don't even go to 90 actually. The elbows are pretty limited, more than they really need to be. It almost looks like they designed this kind of backwards in a way. So like this piece of the bicep prevents the elbow from bending up enough, whereas back here there's like a lot of extra space. So yeah, so you've got really limited articulation in the arms. What does this gun do? That kind of looks like it's on pins as well, but no, that's all molded into this. It moves up and down like this. Oh, you can actually even take this. You could take this piece off if you want, and then this will even lay a little more flat. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so arm articulation, definitely limited on this figure. Now I want to see, how do the legs move? So can you kick up? He can kick up a decent amount, stomping some fools with this giant boot that he's got. And he could, wow, he could split all the way out. That's impressive movement for a character like this, to be able to move his legs that much. I wish they would have found a way to, you know, engineer his arms to be, you know, as good as these legs. And then in terms of his leg, he can go to about 90, again, single jointed. You're gonna have the pins, which the pins are hidden on the elbows by the gauntlets that he's got on his arms, but on the knees, they're kind of here, and you could sort of see him on the side there. So he can go to about a little bit less than 90 degrees for the knee articulation. And then the last little bit here is gonna be these boots, because he's got this, you know, the like thing that goes over the front of his boot, and he's actually got pretty small feet. for I feel like a character this big, this is like a 6'5" guy wearing like a size 10 shoe. But anytime you've got this little piece that goes over the boot, it can kind of limit the articulation a little bit. So in terms of the feet, you know, he can go, yeah, that's about all you get right there, and nothing side to side. So you're not getting any side to side movement there. There's a little bit of a swivel that you could do here in the hip. And then the knee just kind of bends like that. So this is a figure that has shelf presence. It's not going to be hitting a lot of dynamic poses, although I'm sure once you start to incorporate the weapons in there, that's where things are really going to start to take another turn, because he's just going to look like a badass holding all of those accessories that we looked at earlier. If you can find this figure on the shelf at Walmart, it should only be $50. That's what I paid for it, but I'm seeing it go for much more than that online, so watch out for scalpers. Sometimes I will only recommend figures if you're a fan of the source material already, but I don't think that's the case here. Now, you're not going to get a figure that's got a ton of articulation, but if you just want an awesome, imposing looking badass to add to your collection, I'd say this McFarlane Elite Edition Doomslayer fits the bill. I'm really impressed, articulation aside. For the first entry in the Elite Edition line, do you think this is a hit or a miss? Let me know. And if you want to see more action figure content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.